This is the new BMW X1 Facelift. Join us for our review. Let's go! And here the X1 with the facelift, you see it gets a bigger front kidney. All of the new BMW models have become even bigger in this kidney. They don't need more air intake, it's just a design element. Changes also with the headlamp form. They're now more horizontally drawn, daytime running light, and those ones you can see here are the new adaptive LED, 500 euros extra. So this is the newest top spec then you can get for that. The length stays at 4 meters 44, 14.5 or 175 inches. And by the way, that's 27 centimeters shorter than the BMW X3. So the X3 is definitely longer, and you can also see the difference here in the hood. This one here with 4-cylinder or even 1 3-cylinder engines and transverse mount has a shorter hood, therefore then also more cabin space on the interior, whereas the X3, for example, also offers performance engines. Recently seen the X3 X4M review with AJ and Jonas there, check it out. And therefore the X3 has also a longer hood and is overall the longer vehicle, but that does not necessarily have much more room on the interior. Very interesting. Here now with the facelift you get some more new stylings. For example, you have new wheels, those ones here 19-inch, the top one starts from 17-inch. In the rear the X1 has a somewhat typically hatch shape, but here in the facelift, the new tail lamps, they have been redesigned, different structure right here for the LED and also more horizontally, so it looks a little bit more modern. Here in the X-Line again, this silver contrast in the lower part, and they use still real exhaust pipes here in the lower part, also very nicely done with the chrome right here around the exhaust. This one is a 20i. I'll soon tell you more about all the engine choices. As I said, this one here is all about the 4-cylinder engines, no big engines available. You can see there's not enough room, and here the transverse mount of the engine. So on the petrol side, you get an 18i 136 horsepower, so that 18i is also a 3-cylinder for the petrols. This one here is the 20i 4-cylinder 2-liter 192 horsepower. Then there's a 25i 231 horsepower, the top petrol engine so far. Then 6.5 seconds is the acceleration figure. And on the diesel side, there's a 16D 116 horsepower. That one is a 3-cylinder actually. Then there's an 18D 150 horsepower, 20D 190 horsepower, and a 25D 231 horsepower. Also about 6.5 seconds is the acceleration. So the top diesel and top petrol equal in horsepower, equal in acceleration. And then there will also be a 25E. This one then will be a plug-in hybrid, petrol plug-in hybrid with supposed to be pure electric range of 50 kilometers, and really looking forward to test that one very soon. Of course, with the facelift we'll both test the normal engines and also the new PHEV, so look out for that. Now to the interior, car key, slim and light, door closing sound. That sounds solid, I like that. Then we have some more new materials for the interior, soft plush here on the top part. Then for example this one here is a matte wood. Then this interior here is bright and in this case optional animal skin, but you can also get decent euros, some nice fabric seats, and especially for the sporty variants, for example the M Sport, comes with a sport seat with a mix of fabric and Alcantara. I would recommend that if you can get that in your market. In the US you can also get some Sensatec options if you want to be animal free. Then the steering wheel, this one here is the standard steering wheel. There's also an M steering wheel available. This one here would be more, let's say, symmetric and a little bit less sporty, but I actually prefer this classic steering wheel, so to say. You don't have a so high seating position in the X1. This is also a major difference to the X3, for example, which we also had recently again in our review. So here the seating position is not really high SUV-ish. It's a little bit crossover-ish, so a little bit higher than in a classic compact vehicle. Interior overview. The general layout is a little bit conservative, so you also have a classic climate unit here with some rubber around. This might get a little bit bad over time, I'm afraid, but I think it's still good to have a manual climate unit right there. You can easily reach it while driving. Then, as for the screens, 6.5 or bigger one 8.8, then already with GPS, or this one, the new top one, 10.25 inch with the BMW operating system 6, so also a new iteration. However, this one is not the all new latest platform by BMW, and therefore you do not get the same version of the software you get in the all new models, for example in the all new 1 series. And therefore, you also have still this rather old school menu, which is sometimes a little bit complicated. You can either do it with touch or with a lower control knob. And then, for example, here, let's go to the map again. With the GPS, it's quite fast and has a good overview, but again, the menu structure is still a little bit complicated. Wireless CarPlay is available for that one now, so you can manage the mobile devices and also have the wireless CarPlay, for example, right here. There's also a new head-up display. It's bigger to see in real life and also doesn't flicker, just on camera here a little bit, with a speed, allowed speed, and also some GPS direction. So a nice option to go for. Instruments, a mix of analog and digital, so-called black panel technology. You can see it gets illuminated like this then. And the real digital part is the screen right there in the middle part. And this one available in 2.7 or here, the bigger one, 5.7 inch. So the really exciting part here is the rear compartment of the X1, because it's not a long vehicle, but still you have decent amount of legroom here, even if you drive as a tall driver right there. So the trunk capacity is 505 liters up to 1550 liters, so that's very well usable. Here the lower compartment is very spacious, so pretty cool for that. Then here you have an even loading sill and quite square dimensions like that. This cover here you can also remove, and I already flipped one of those seats right there. And now to our conclusion for today with the BMW X1 facelift. The most important change is the front. As usual with the facelift, the X1 now looks even stronger with this bigger double kidney, and especially in this silver design, I think that looks pretty fancy. And it also comes closer to the other SUV models then. The general difference still remains the same from the X1 to the X3. This one here a little bit more lower, smaller, crossover-ish. The X3 already has this very high elaborate SUV feeling, but this one here has a better package on the inside. That's also why this one is meanwhile one of the most sold BMW models, in some cases also indeed the overall most sold, depending on the market and depending on the time period, because it is first of all the cheapest BMW SUV, and also it's not so long on the exterior, but it already offers a good package on the interior and also solid build quality. New infotainment system upgrade here, that will also help, especially with the wireless CarPlay, for example. However, it's not the newest 7.0 software system from the new platforms that offer the extensive voice support, for example, and also this even easier menu structure. So that's what you have to live with in this case, but already a good upgrade infotainment system-wise. The question, however, remains if you want to go for all of those options, because here with the 20i X-Line at least 40,000, and with all of the options here we included today, 62,000 euros, this very test vehicle. Yeah, that's very expensive, so my advice would rather be to go for the X1 as an entry SUV into the BMW SUV range, and then also keep it a little bit lower with the options to get a better price performance deal. You know, maybe pick the normal sat-nav with the 8.8 inch screen, stick with the fabric or SensorTech seats, not go for the biggest wheels, not for any other fancy packages, and you still have a quite decent car, because the X1 in general also in our driving review performed quite well. But again, best with the base suspension, or then if you want to go in a high price spec, then the adaptive suspension. So I hope you liked our insight here today with the BMW X1 facelift. Soon we will also drive it for you, of course, and especially looking forward then to the next year when they will also present the plug-in hybrid for this very car. What do you think? Let's discuss the X1 facelift, and also please tune in next time.